Hello, welcome back to Wealth Reimagined. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in your day. Welcome back. Welcome back. As you can see, I have a little bit of a different setup. I am in the process of unpacking. I recently purchased a home and got everything finally all moved in 2 days ago. And so it's just been a lot of Oh, if you've ever moved, you already know. I'm so worn out, but I'm also really excited. And so, thank you to everybody who sent me thank yous and congratulations on my home purchase. And hopefully, I'll have my office set up so that I can have my normal, or not even my normal setup, my new and improved setup. And maybe I can even share it with you all once I get it how I really want it. So, but thank you all for that. And if you are new here, let me tell you who I am. I am Maya Kay. I am the financial literacy podcast host on the Family Bloodline Network. And we are building a community here that is focused on the foundation building. The foundation, laying the foundation is a better way to put it. We're laying the foundation around budgeting, debt elimination, and saving so that you can then build and prepare yourself into that next level of wealth building. Hence the title of our show, Wealth Reimagined, the Financial Literacy Podcast, Family Bloodline Network. So if you have not yet, please go ahead and subscribe to the network. So much great content that comes from this network. Um, the Legacy Table on Thursdays, the Pulse on Wednesdays. I have content that drops normally on Mondays. And so, check us out. Check us out. It's very real, raw content. We're not at the mercy of sponsors and things like that. So we can be very real with you about what we're discussing and viewpoints on those things. So check us out if you haven't. Please like and subscribe. So, well, again, so worn out, but I really wanted to do something a little different this time. And I know that, um, you know, we're I should actually also be celebrating that Wealth Reimagined is about a quarter old now for the year, 3 months in. So yay for that. Still going strong. Been brainstorming so many ideas and the ways that I want to grow this platform and hopefully be able to provide not just content and videos, but hands-on either, material and curriculum and things like that to really allow you to be able to apply these things to your specific financial situation. And so that is something that I'm working on in the background. Season one, this is very much, new and it's like a beta, and I'm very much open to your feedback. Please leave comments or send me DMs and just let me know, has this been beneficial to you? Or what are something that you want to hear more about and learn more about? If it's not something that I'm necessarily uh, either well versed in or an expert in, I can absolutely find someone who is and have them as a guest on the show. And so please be thinking of those things and, what is it that you want to know about? Or where are you struggling and where do you need more clarity? So, with all of that, I know the last 3 months have been a lot of, you know, here are things you should do and here are the things you shouldn't do and be thinking about this and work on your mindset. And while all of that is true, I would be remiss not to address a real challenge that many are facing. And I recently had an interaction. There's a young high school boy that on my former my former neighborhood, and he came around and knocked on the door, and he was seeking people to allow him to cut their grass so he could raise money. And I asked him, I said, well, do you have a goal? What are you raising the money for? And he really was just like, it's really because of my soccer schedule. Excuse me. It's because of my soccer schedule. I really can't do like a job, a summer job, because of soccer practice and things like that. And so it's just a way for me to earn some extra money on the side. And I said, okay. So, full transparency, I was honestly thinking, this is not the year I got extra money to help because I knew that I wanted to purchase a home, and I was, look, anywhere where I underspent, I was just throwing that cash into a down payment account, or I should say a sinking fund. And so I told him, I said, well, how much are you charging? And I don't remember. I think he said $50 or something like that. And I said, well, I could probably help you out. I don't know about every week, but I could probably help you out sometime this summer. So he he would cut, and then I did negotiate a $40 per cut, agreement. And so he would cut every now and then, about every 2 weeks. Sometimes I would go ahead and cut the grass myself because I didn't want to have to pay, and then there were other times where I'm like, well, let me try to help him out. And uh, we've also been faced with this just heat and then rain and then oppressive heat and then more rain. And so the grass has just been growing out of control. But then once the grass dries so you can cut it, it's too hot. It's too hot to cut. And so this last time, um, it had gotten pretty long, and he happened to text me. It was just a few days ago. And he asked me if I was okay with him coming to mow on Friday. And I said, sure, that would be great. I'm thinking that's one less thing I would have to do because I was trying to finish packing and get out of my rental. So he cut the grass, and he was texting me, and he's like, the grass is really long, and do you have a broom, and do you have this? And I was like, no, I don't have any of that. And then he's like, you should let me know. I could come cut it so it don't get this long. And so I was prepared to send him a message and let him know, well, this will be the last mow and all this stuff. So anyhow, I said, well, I'm not there. Send me a photo once you're done mowing so I'll know everything's done and so I can send you your payment. So he gets around to sending me that. So instead of sending him $40, I sent him $100. And the reason I did that was, one, it was for some extra, that he did a lot of extra work because the grass was long. It was very long. So he did some extra work dealing with that grass. But two, I just wanted to give him something for school. I told him, I was like, I really hope that you continue your entrepreneurial spirits, you know, stay safe. I hope you excel in your soccer, but just wishing you the best. And, here's something. I appreciate you cutting today. And here's something for the extra work. And here's something for back to school. So I sent that. And a few minutes later, I get a text back from him. And he says, thank you for the $100. Now I can go buy my family some groceries. And he's like, not only did you help me, you're helping my whole family. Um, and I appreciate it so much. And thank you. And I wish you the best. And so, while I am aware that we are in the midst of an affordability crisis when it comes to gas, food, everything, everything. Even if you make more money than you did last year or 5 years ago, that that raise or that increase in pay is not even staying in alignment with inflation. Inflation, gone. This war on Iraq, or Lord, this war with Iran, um, is causing everything to go up, and it's going to continue to go up. And so, what I really wanted to talk about today wasn't anything that it's not anything to do with here's how you can budget for this time. Here's what you need to be saving. You need to pay off debt. These are things we already know, right? I wanted today to really offer more of an encouragement to you because I don't want you to feel guilty about wherever your finances are currently. I hope that this podcast has been beneficial over the last 3 months and that you have been able to either shift your mindset around something or implement something that will help you in your journey. But what I don't I don't want you to feel guilty that you don't have it all together. This is a very unique time. And depending on where you are in life, you you are probably struggling. We are all feeling it. We are all feeling it. Even people that I have talked to who normally are doing just fine, they're feeling it. You can't help but feel it when gas is so high. But you got to drive your car or you got to take people to school or you just, you just got to go. You have to go somewhere. You have to travel for something. Gas is high, food is high. Now we dealing with where we can't eat lettuce. We can't like everything that we normally, I guess, would go to that's healthy. Now we got, well, I guess I can't have that. I've been craving salad lately and I can't eat. I'm too scared to eat salad, too scared to mess with the lettuce and the spinach, And so I just don't, I know that a lot of times we can feel very guilty about our money situation. We can cause ourselves to feel very guilty about our lack of savings. We can feel guilty about how much debt we have. We can feel guilty that we aren't budgeting or we feel we aren't sticking to the budget. I don't want you to feel guilty. I don't want you to allow guilt and shame to get in the way of implementing at least one thing. Implement just one thing. Make one change. Be consistent with that one change. Be consistent with that one thing you decided to implement. I don't care if it's meal planning so that you have more of an idea of what you actually need when you go shopping for grocery. Um, I don't care if it is tracking expenses. I don't care if it is doing a budget. I don't care if it's having $5 transferred every time you get paid automatically, set up on to be automated. I don't care what it is. It could just be even just a mental shift. It could be a mental shift in that I am going to be the CEO of my household. I'm the CEO of my household. That's not just financial stuff. That's other decisions that have to be made, right? And so I just I just don't want you to feel that you're not able to do it or that you've been failing when you got all these other outside elements and dynamics that are impacting your progress. So I just want you to just take a moment and just be real about that and reframe whatever guilty thought that you may have or feeling like you're failing. Oftentimes, it's not that something can't be done or it's hard or we can't do it or we're not capable. Oftentimes, we just don't have a system in place to support us. That system could be the act of doing something. That system could be a support group of people or a person. A lot of times we just aren't setting our life and our space to support us and the things that we need. This hits home with me even more right now because of the move. And I'm like, where did I get all this stuff? Why do I have all this stuff? And you best believe I'm getting ready to be on Facebook Marketplace selling a lot of it. And a lot of the rest of it is trash because I'm like, I don't I don't need this. I don't use it. And it's probably something that I can't sell. But just don't I just don't want you to beat yourself up about where you are because just know that where you are is not where you have to stay. And also remember that when you know better, you'll do better. But give yourself grace, especially right now, because so much is going on around us. So much is happening to be a distraction. So much so you can't keep up with your left and your right. It's just one thing after another. Focus on one thing, one change, and just do that. Do that for now. Um, I was very surprised when I got that text from that young man to cut the grass. I had no idea that his family was struggling in that way. And this is my neighbor or my former neighbor right across the street. I had no idea. No idea. Um, and I thought about it, if I had known, what could I have done? And I could have made extra, you know. It's not like I could have done a whole lot, but maybe I could have done something. Or when I went to the store, like, hey, is there something I could grab for you? I just had no idea. Um, I know that a lot of people are having to choose between, paying mortgage and rent. The rent is expensive. Rent is out of control. Grocery out of control. Gas out of control. Everything's out of control. Again, it's an affordability crisis. It's an affordability crisis. And I feel it too. I feel it too. And you feel it. I'm sure you feel it. And it may not be as bad as, oh my God, where am I going to get food? Am I going to eat? It may not be that. It could be as simple as when I leave the house, I got a plan. I got a specific route that I'm going to take because I'm not about to be doing a bunch of back and forth and backtracking. We're going this way. If it's on the route, and then we coming home. And then we in. It could be that. It could be really managing your route to minimize gas usage. You know, it could be instead of eating out, or what I always say anyway, you got food at home. You probably got food at home. It could be that. And just look, we are a creative people. And I was raised by my grandmother. She was born in 1912, and she lived through the Great Depression as a Black woman. And she taught me a lot, but I also picked up on some of those habits that weren't necessary, saving things. And, I didn't need to do that. Well, I didn't, but I know how to do it. I know how to be resourceful. I know how to be creative. I can be clever, all of that. I'm not special when it comes to that. You are just as creative. You are just as clever. And so you are just as resourceful. So we're going to make it. We're going to be all right. We're going to get through it. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tough. But just keep the faith. Give yourself grace. And just try one thing that can ease and make all this less heavy, right? So I hope that, I said something that was of an encouragement. I'm doing the best I can on a little sleep. And so um, I'm not even going to go back and edit this video. I'm just raw posting. All right. But again, thank you for tuning in with me on this Monday. Tomorrow is election day. I voted early. Do not miss your opportunity to vote. If you don't know what's going on and what the amendments are, look it up right now. And please go exercise your right to vote. It is so crucial, more than ever. You think things are too expensive now? Look, do not play around. Please, I encourage you with everything to get out and exercise your vote before you don't have that right anymore. I'm not going to get into the politicals of it, but please go vote. Okay? All right, that's my time. If you got anything out of this video, please like and share it with someone. You may know someone that's been down on themselves or hard on themselves about how things are going right now. Do not think that it is because this is something you can't do. You got the world against you. And just like I said, keep the faith, give yourself grace, and it's going to be all right. Till next time, y'all have a great week. Bye.